Back with us now from RealClearPolitics, White House reporter Phil Wegmann. Phil, GOP lawmakers are saying, why did the Biden White House send more than $365 million in taxpayer dollars to Nancy Pelosi's district in San Francisco for parks? It's like a quarter of the entire spending for all U.S. national parks. I mean, the National Park Service is saying the Interior Department ordered him to transfer $200 million of that for the Presidio, and that this violated agency norms.
Yeah, and these numbers are staggering. It's difficult to give Representative Pelosi the benefit of the doubt when you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars here for her district at the expense of others. I actually looked back at the press release that her office put out praising this funding and touting the Inflation Reduction Act that it was part of, and noting that Republicans didn't vote for it. But what I'm curious about, and what I think will be a very fascinating epilogue to her time in Washington, D.C., is whether or not a lot of the biographers, for instance, those at Time Magazine or USA Today, who wrote biographies of the former speaker, if they follow up on this report, or if they give her a free pass and thank her for her service in opposition to the former president. This is certainly one of the most powerful politicians in our lifetimes, and I think that there's need for much more scrutiny here.
Yeah, and there's already been talk about her husband doing stock trades with an inside seat on what's going on with legislation. It's about corruption. It's about being watchdogs. So we don't even know the half of what really is going on. But it just feels like we're at a debt ceiling fight and talking about spending cuts when this inflationary, wasteful spending is flying out the door. And now we've got House Energy Committee demanding Energy Secretary Granholm turn over documents. Why did she have to fly 4 times in 5 months to Puerto Rico? Couldn't she Zoom or Skype?
Yeah, that's going to be one of the questions the House Republicans have for the Energy Secretary. And on its face, ostensibly, there are very important reasons for her to travel to Puerto Rico. Those Americans there are often underserved, and they have had trouble keeping their electrical grid up with a lot of the storms that have passed through the region. But House Republicans are going to wonder, why did you have to travel 4 times to a vacation destination? Why couldn't you pick up the phone or even Zoom? Why was this so important? And especially after what we saw from Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and the controversy over his travel, House Republicans, they're not going to look the other way when it comes to this potential controversy.
Yeah, the Transportation Inspector General is now auditing Secretary Buttigieg's extensive use of private jets, as he's talking about we ought to pay to fight climate change. And he's taken at least 18 flights since 2021. So that's basically on taxpayer-funded jets. So we also have this new Republican bill introduced last month led by Congresswoman Monica de la Cruz. She's saying Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas is also making a lot of use of private jets, that he should fly commercial and coach until he comes up with a plan to fully secure the border. It's called the Mayorkas Must Fly Coach Until We Secure the Border Act. I mean, so what's with all these government officials flying on federal planes or private jets?
Well, certainly the Biden administration isn't the first White House that has had to deal with these types of headaches. Hopefully they will be the last, though, because this is the sort of thing that erodes trust in institutions. If you have to hop on a private plane or a government jet to go meet a crisis in the middle of the night, I don't think any citizen anywhere is going to think twice about that. But if you have example after example, with the Transportation Secretary, for instance, traveling private, I think that frustrates people. And then with regards to the DHS Secretary, I think a lot of constituents out there are going to say, wait a minute, it doesn't seem to me that you are meeting the chief obligation of your job. Why is it that you get such a fancy perk?
Got it. Phil Wegmann, come back soon. It's good to see you.
Thank you.